Sure, yeah. I think you guys can get up here. You guys can get up here. Yeah. I think we should all get up here. Okay. Me and Dibble. And you.
Maybe we can leave it against that so nobody trips.
I'll go after you. Is that for the short people? Short people. Okay. Great. We will get started. Thank you all for being here. I am State Senator Zaida Mohammed, and I want to thank all of you for being here, our leaders, as well as our community members who are joining us today. Donald Trump's announcement last Friday that he would end temporary protected status for Somalis in Minnesota is everything we have expected from this man. It's cruel, it's illegal, it's dangerous, and it's stupid. By attempting to revoke the status of about 700 Somalis in America under a TPS, Trump is scapegoating a tiny piece of the population, some of the most vulnerable people in our country. But Trump based his order on a report whose author has made it clear that his goal is to denaturalize and deport as many Somali-Americans as possible. This is not about crime. It's not about safety. This is about purging people like me from this country. Minnesota has always been a welcoming place for people fleeing a home country that is beset by war, poverty, and hunger. Europeans in the 19th and 20th century, Black Americans from the South, Hmong and Vietnamese, Liberians and East Africans and Latin Americans. This embrace of new culture is one of our greatest strengths. The first generation came here as immigrants, the second as Americans. They are our teachers, nurses, blue-collar workers, small business owners, and public servants. Donald Trump wants to make Americans hate each other over race and religion. That might play well on Truth Social or Fox News, but it's not going to work here in real life. Minnesotans know better. We care about our neighbors. We live and work alongside each other. Our kids go to the same schools. We shovel each other's cars out of snow. We are not afraid of each other, and we are not afraid of Donald Trump. He will lose this fight in court, and we will show his effort to divide us only brings us closer together and make us stronger. Our next speaker is Representative Mahmoud Noor.
Good morning. My name is Mahmoud Noor. I represent District 60B. We all have seen the disturbing news that a small minority of individuals who are on a temporary protected status are now going to hear more from the president, who should be lifting people up rather than putting people down. The actions taken by the president by making that statement is dangerous. It's endangering many communities. Somalis are fabric of the state of Minnesota. As you've heard from my colleague, they're in every profession. They are our neighbors, they are our friends, they are our family. And demonizing any community within the state of Minnesota, particularly from others who are state leaders, when they lift up information that is dehumanizing, when they lift up information that puts people down, they need to understand they need to be held accountable. We should never use a small community as a scapegoat. With any challenge that we see, Somalis are resilient. We will overcome. We have got allies. We're going to stand with you. Remember that if they come for you, we are with you. Your elected officials are with you. Your state leaders are with you. Our allies are going to stand up and protect you and fight you through the court system, because I know we've got a leader here who's going to be speaking to us, who's been fighting everything that the president has done so far. Our Attorney General has been a strong ally, and we will be standing together, fighting for our communities. Thank you.
I knocked somebody's little thing down, so sorry about that. Good afternoon. I'm St. Paul's Mayor-elect Kaohly Her, and I wish we were gathering here today under different circumstances, but once again, we must stand together to address harmful and divisive statements made by the person sitting in the highest office of our nation. Threatening to end TPS status for our Somali families and sending them back is not only cruel, but dangerous. Painting an entire community with a broad brush because of the actions of a few has created an untrue narrative. Like our Somali brothers and sisters, my family came as refugees, fleeing a home we could no longer stay in. Refugees make Minnesota stronger. In St. Paul here, we have watched our refugee communities revitalize whole parts of our town. They come and start small businesses. They enrich our neighborhoods. They pay taxes into our community. They're every much a part of our culture here in Minnesota as their own. They bring not only their culture, but also their work ethic, enriching our communities and building better lives for their families and ours. Like many Somali refugees granted temporary protected status, we arrived because we had no other option. America welcomed us with open arms. Donald Trump's words and actions betray the core truth that we are a nation of immigrants and refugees. He's made it clear who he thinks is worthy of America and who is not. That is not who we are. Minnesota has a long and rich history of welcoming refugees and immigrants. We must stand together and remain committed to this tradition. There is more that unites us than divides us, and Donald Trump does not get that. He is not the decider for Minnesota. We will continue leading forward together. Thank you.
It's so great to be standing with colleagues today. Thank you all. And it's so great to be standing with community and everyone who's here. We really appreciate you because, you know, the Somali community really makes Minnesota better. And that isn't a matter of debate for us. We know it. Somali community is an integral part of our state, our culture, and our neighborhoods. Like so many immigrant communities before them, many Somalis came to Minnesota fleeing conflict, instability, famine, just looking to build better lives for themselves and their families like everybody else. And that's what TPS is designed to do. Provide protected legal status for people whose nations are facing dire conditions due to war, natural disaster, or other serious crimes. But of course, Donald Trump read the wrong blog post or watched a fake AI video or saw the wrong tweet, whatever, however he makes decisions these days, we don't know. And all that is all he needed to decide to attack our Somali neighbors. But as usual, he's wrong on the law. TPS exists for people whose safety would be at risk if they return to their countries. And tragically for so many of our neighbors, Somalia right now meets that criteria. The Trump administration knows this. The U.S. State Department publishes an annual advisory on international travel with 4 levels ranging from number 1, exercise normal precautions, to 4, do not travel. So the State Department says, do not travel if you're at level 4. Somalia is at level 4 right now. So somehow, the Trump administration wants to claim that Somalia is too dangerous for anyone to visit, but perfectly safe to return TPS holders to return to. This is obviously absurd, obviously political, obviously wrong, but Trump's ploy is, par for the course and same as ever. He wants us pointing fingers at each other while he and his cronies run a scam on America, swindling your tax dollars, accepting $400 million planes, denying the Epstein files, anything to stop from focusing on the matters at hand. So my office is looking at every option on the table to push back against this threat. And because this isn't the first time Trump has tried a tactic like this, there are some good examples we can follow. Multiple efforts to cancel TPS holders in the first Trump term were successfully litigated. Those lawsuits continue to defend TPS holders this time around. Recently, a lawsuit to protect Syrian refugees from a very similar executive order is making good progress through the courts right now, and we're keeping a close eye on that. Most importantly, we're not going to turn our backs on our neighbors. But because, of course, Somali immigrants are good for Minnesota, just like Hmong immigrants are good for Minnesota, Mexican immigrants are good for Minnesota, German, Italian, Irish, Norwegian immigrants are good for Minnesota, and Anishinaabe and Dakota people are good for Minnesota. They are together what makes us us. Weaponizing negative stereotypes and racism against our neighbors is morally wrong. It has no place in our state, no place in our law, and no place in public discourse around protecting people from the most dangerous conditions on the planet. People from all walks of life and all across the world are proud to call our state home, and Minnesota is better for it. We reject this callous cruelty and embrace our Somali neighbors with compassion and the care that we all deserve. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Congresswoman McCollum, and I represent St. Paul and all the surrounding communities. It's a pleasure to have such a large community out here supporting our brothers and sisters from Somalia ancestry. I'm here today to stand with them. In Minnesota, as has been pointed out by the other speakers, we welcome our immigrant neighbors and we treat them with respect and we treat them with dignity. It's been 50 years since the Vietnam War, when we welcomed Hmong and Lao War veterans who fought alongside American forces during the secret war in Laos. They were welcomed into our communities. And during the 1990s, during the Somali Civil War, Minnesota again provided a safe, new home for families displaced by extreme violence. The Minnesota immigrant communities are making contributions that make our neighborhood and our nation a better place. Republicans continue to single out Democratic states that follow federal immigration law, turning our neighbors into scapegoats to win votes. I'm ready to get to work, seriously, about fixing our broken immigration system. It's time for the Trump and Republicans to come to the table if they truly care about comprehensive reform that upholds American values and keeps our country safe. But instead, for months, Trump has been stoking tensions across the country with reckless and illegal mass deportations that violate the essence of America, due process. Across America, he is illegally deploying National Guard at the cost of millions of dollars a day. In Washington, D.C., it's $1.3 million a day for the deployed National Guard. Now, back to late Friday night, when he hurled an ugly late-night threat against Minnesota's Somali community. You have to ask yourself why. It's because Trump and Republicans are doing nothing to address the real crisis facing us as Americans. The U.S. economy is in shambles, the cost of living is soaring, and the Trump and Republicans have created a health care crisis, and they failed to deliver on essential heating assistance for Minnesotans this winter. We know that when Donald Trump's in trouble, he always falls back to what he knows: throwing attacks and creating chaos. Americans deserve better than Trump's attacks and his misinformation about what's happening here in Minnesota. Here's the reality. Crime is declining. We continue to be ranked as one of the best states to start a business and raise a family. And if Trump and House Republicans are serious about addressing the real challenges facing our country, they wouldn't be attacking. They would be listening to Minnesotans, seeing their health care premiums rise, struggling to afford Trump's tax on tariffs, and that affects everything from groceries to gas to heating. I want to be clear. An attack against one of us is an attack against all of us. So I'm proud to stand up for our Minnesota values today with my brothers and sisters. I thank Governor Walz and Attorney Keith Ellison for all that they do to move things forward in court. And I'm so proud to stand with my brothers and sisters in the Minnesota House and Senate. We haven't changed our values since I served here. And let me state again, an attack against one of us is an attack against all of us. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Claudia Lainez, and I am the Worker Center Director at COPAL, and also a temporary protected status holder, speaking today with COPAL and the Immigrants Defense Network. I am here in solidarity with the Somali community in response to the statement made last Friday by President Trump. His statement is not just political statement. It was direct, dangerous, Islamophobic attack on our Somali and Muslim communities in Minnesota. And we are here to say clearly, we reject it, we condemn it, and we will not stand. Let's be clear about what happened. President Trump used false accusations and racist, historic stereotypes to paint the entire community as criminals. He threatened the Somali TPS, something he does not have the legal authority to do, and something that was meant only to create fear and division. This harmful rhetoric is not grounded in law or fact. It's not grounded in reality of Minnesota. It is grounded in bigotry, and it is meant to dehumanize people who have been part of this state for decades. As TPS holders, we are parents, workers, caregivers, students, business owners, organizers, and community leaders. We are part of the daily heartbeat of Minnesota. We deserve safety and dignity and the truth, not to be targeted by political gain. Attacking one TPS community is an attack on all TPS community. This is part of a larger pattern, an attempt to roll back humanitarian protections across the board, and we are united in saying that we will not allow TPS to be used as a political weapon against our people. And that is why we speak with urgency today. Minnesota knows who we are. We know that our Somali neighbors make this state stronger, safer, and more vibrant. And we know that the brave of us stand together when any of us is targeted. To the Somali TPS holders, you are not alone. We see you, we love you, and we are standing shoulder to shoulder with you. To every TPS community, we will defend one another. We will keep each other safe. The brave of us stand together today, tomorrow, and every time our communities are under attack. And what do we do when we are under attack? Stand up, fight back. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Rabbi Emma Kipley-Ogman, campus rabbi and chaplain at McAllister College and a board member at Jewish Community Action, which organizes Minnesotan Jews for racial and economic justice, working in solidarity with other Minnesotan marginalized communities. I am grateful to be here today as a Jewish community leader to stand with Minnesota's Somali community in particular, and with all Minnesotans who stand in our long-standing tradition in our state to stand up for our neighbors. Minnesota is made of all of us together, and we are not sending anyone away. We refuse to be divided because we are neighbors who stand together in love. The most repeated commandment in Torah, the core sacred text of the Jewish tradition, ve'ahavtem et hager ki gerim hayitem. It is to love and to protect immigrants, rooted in all of our knowing the vulnerability of making home in a new place. Torah's vision for peaceful community is a world that provides plentiful harvests where everyone has enough. In that world, this world, our world, the divine voice says, Vishavtem levetach ba'artechem, you shall dwell safely in your land. Ushchavtem ve'ein macharid, you shall lie down and no one shall terrify you. No one shall terrify you. No one. No one shall tell you that you do not belong here, to this place that holds us all. As Minnesotans, this is the community we are building together. Our most vulnerable neighbors deserve the safety we all yearn for as we together make Minnesota home.
Good morning. I'm Pastor Dan Streeper, and I'm an ELCA pastor from Redeemer in White Bear Lutheran Church. And as a pastor of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, it's my calling compels us to speak plainly and truthfully about this situation today. President Trump's call to strip temporary protective status from the entire Somali community of Minnesota is a horrendous travesty of justice. This isn't justice. As we've heard, it's scapegoating. And when a particular ethnic group is singled out, it's not only unjust, it's xenophobic. Our faith teaches us that every person is created in God's image, and God calls us to love our neighbor. This is Christ's primary command, and that everyone deserves dignity and justice. Scripture reminds us in Leviticus 19, you shall love the stranger as yourself, for you were once strangers in the land. And to target Somali neighbors who are working diligently to traverse the extremely difficult immigration process and target many whom already are citizens and parents and workers and leaders in our communities is to divine truth and purpose. Collective punishment, banishing thousands because of suspicion or stereotype, betrays the very principles of justice and democracy and even faith. It replaces evidence with prejudice and law with fear. The Minnesota Somali community is not a threat. It is a gift. Each person enriches schools, businesses, congregations, and our neighborhoods. And to strip away their protections is to strip away our own humanity. As Lutherans, we are called to stand in solidarity with the Somalis, to stand with the marginalized, to resist racism, and to proclaim God's justice is bigger than fear. We will not be silent while our neighbors are scapegoated. We will stand together, insisting that justice be done with fairness and due process and love and respect for every child of God. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace be upon you. My name is Yusuf Abdullah. I am the Executive Director of Islamic Association of North America. I would like to start with that we are all Minnesotans. We're all neighbors. We all go to we send our kids to same schools. We drive on same roads. We help each other. When some one of us is stuck in the snow, we shovel them out. That's who we are as Minnesotans. The president's rhetoric, hateful rhetoric of last time, not this one, but the one before, resulted in bombing one of our masjids or mosques in Bloomington, Minnesota, due to his hateful speech addressed towards one of the communities of this great state. The same rhetoric was repeated last Friday, which could result, God forbid, in another attack or attacks against our community. We as Minnesotans are greater than division, greater than being pitted against each other, pitted against our neighbors. We're much greater than that. The best among us are those who help others the most. As Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, خَيْرُ النَّاسِ أَنْفَعُهُمْ لِلنَّاسِ. The best among people are those who benefit others the most. So, we have our own issues. The cost of living is going up. The health care is facing many challenges. And instead of focusing on those issues that we all deal with and struggling with, instead of talking about that, fixing those issues, it is not right to talk about division, about otherizing people, about labeling a productive community of this great state. We as Minnesotans cannot be divided. Can we? No. We cannot be scapegoated. Can we? No. We cannot be distracted from the realities that we're facing. Can we? No. So we need to unite. And we need to hold hands and face these difficult times and challenges that we have today together and be strong together. So I would like to call to all of us to visit each other, to help each other, to love each other, and to care for each other. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Habon Abdullah. I'm the Executive Director of Ayeda Leads. Today, I'm here not only as the Executive Director, but also as someone who feels a deep responsibility to stand with and advocate for the immigrant communities. When public conversations are shaped by fears or misinformation about our immigrants, we must remember our shared humanity. There is power in words. They can divide or they can heal. They can diminish or uplift. The task we face as a Minnesota community is to choose a language that is characterized by dignity, empathy, and truth. Many of us came to the United States seeking peace and stability after war, famine, or displacement. Programs like temporary protected status extend that hope, giving families safety, stability, and the chance to rebuild their lives while contributing to their new home. TPS is not a loophole or a favor. It's a humanitarian commitment. Let me repeat that. It is a humanitarian commitment. It reflects the value of compassion, fairness, and moral responsibility that defines who we are as a people. When those values are questioned, it affects real people, our neighbors, friends, and family who work hard, pay taxes, volunteer, and give back to their communities. Taking away that sense of safety not only harms individuals, it also weakens the trust and unity that hold all us together. The stakes are even higher for immigrant women. Women are the backbone of their families, holding their communities together through caregiving and resilience. When we speak about TPS or immigration policy, we are not speaking in the abstract. We are talking about mothers who nurture children, children who deserve stability, and families who simply want a chance to live without fear. As someone who works every day to support immigrant families, as well as strengthening the role of African diaspora community within civic life, I want to emphasize this clearly. We will continue to stand with courage, speak with compassion, and remind this state and this country that we're part of its history. We belong here, we contribute here, and together with our allies, friends, and neighbors, we will keep building a Minnesota where every person is treated with dignity and care. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Assalamu alaikum, subah wanaagsan. I am really delighted to see so many incredible leaders and so much of our community here. I want to start with a gratitude by thanking the Minnesota Democratic delegation, Senator Amy Klobuchar, Senator Tina Smith, Congresswoman Angie Craig, Congresswoman Betty McCollum, for strongly speaking in opposition to the hate, to the fear-mongering, and for standing up in unity for the Somali community here in Minnesota and across the country. I also want to thank Governor Tim Walz, Lieutenant Governor Betty Flanagan, Attorney General Keith Ellison, for reminding folks why Minnesota is a great state, because we all stay united and uplift one another. And I want to thank the incredible leaders who are behind me, whether they are elected officials or faith leaders or community leaders, for speaking in one unified voice against the scapegoating of a community that has thrived in Minnesota and whom most have chosen to call this state home. I think I want to speak to a few things. One, I want to speak to what Trump has tweeted and what it means for those of us who call this incredible state home. Because facts matter, and facts are important. It is unfortunate that we are led by a president who does not understand the laws of this land. When the president tweets as if he has the authority to terminate temporary protected status for Somalis in Minnesota. Even little kids in 8th grade know that that is not an authority that the president has and can wield. Temporary status protection for Somalis expires March of 2026, and anyone with that status has 60 days after for it to have any impact on them. And so if you are confused, if you feel threatened, know that the law is on your side and our demented president can't do anything about it. The other unlawful thing that our lawless president is claiming to do so is to terminate that status for only one state, which he has no authority to do so. So, for the 300 or so people that are impacted, that currently live in Minnesota and across the country, we see you and we stand with you, and we will make sure we do everything that we can to help make sure that your status is adjusted before March of 2026. Because you know and I know that there is nothing temporary about people's lives here in the United States. Many of these people that we are talking about have built lives. They own homes, they own businesses, they are a vibrant part of our communities. And we want to make sure that their new home stays their forever home. The second thing I want to speak to is that in this country, we do not blame the lawlessness of an individual on a whole community. Because if you believe in law and order, you understand that if a person commits a crime, they face justice. And that you don't put that crime on a whole community. What we also know is that there is not a single evidence that the president or his coonies have put forth that there are any single resource from taxpayers in Minnesota that has gone to aid and abet terrorism. That language is dangerous. That language puts the lives of Somalis not only in Minnesota, but across the country in danger. And if the president believed that and he had evidence, he would take people to court. So we are sick and tired of the president waking up one day and deciding to put forth falsehoods and demonize whole communities, while the ignorant people that support him then take the lies that he's spreading and use it as a fact. We've seen it during the campaign where he said Asians were eating cats and dogs. We've seen his vice president repeat those lies. We've seen the media run it as a headline as if it was a fact. That is shameful. That is shameful. That is ignorant. It makes us look like a stupid nation that does not believe in truth but traffics in lies. It makes the world mock us, and we are better than that. We are better than that as Americans. Somalis are not terrorizing this nation. We are helping it thrive. Somalis have always seen themselves as a fabric of this nation. We have signed up to serve this country in its military. We have signed up to teach children. We have signed up to become nurses and doctors and engineers. We have signed up to be public servants and get elected into office. We don't do that because we hate this nation. We do that because we love this nation. We do that because we have deep gratitude to the Americans who have given us the opportunity to find a new home, to settle in that new home, to find new joys in that new home, to start families in that new home, and to call that new home our own. We don't complain on the sidelines. We get involved in making America better. And finally, before I get off this stage, I just want to take a moment, because I always jokingly say that Minnesota doesn't just welcome refugees, but it sends one to Congress. But I want most Minnesotans to know this. Majority of us Somalis who are here, as my friend Ali said yesterday, most of us, this was not the first place we came when we came to the United States. But most of us chose Minnesota as our home because Minnesota is special to us. Minnesotans are special to us. When we moved from Arlington, Virginia, and came here nearly 30 years ago, none of us decided to move to another state. My siblings and I and my dad, until he died, called Minnesota home. Because, like I said, Minnesota is special. And I know almost every single elected Somali Minnesotan did not start out in Minnesota, but chose to come here, stay here, start families here, and ultimately serve the people who welcomed them into this beautiful state. So not only are we not going anywhere, we are not going to allow anybody to make us feel less Minnesotan or less American. We are not going to allow anybody to push us into the shadows. We're not going to allow anybody to erase our presence and our contribution. And we are not going to allow anyone to scapegoat us. Because as Somalis, what we learned from Minnesotans is that you have to be resilient to thrive in Minnesota. And we are goddamn resilient. Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Erin Murphy. I'm a proud Irish American and the Majority Leader in the Minnesota Senate. I'm here today because we are together fighting for a fundamental belief about who we are in America. I believe in a strong America, one that is a beacon of freedom and one that welcomes the stranger, that makes America special, that makes Minnesota special, as the Congresswoman just said. And we are enriched by those who come to live in Minnesota and by the Somali community, who's building our neighborhoods and our communities and our businesses and our economy and making Minnesota more rich, more interesting, more vibrant, and more of who we are and who we will be. We are here because the president continues to villainize and demonize Minnesotans in an effort to divide us. It's his favorite claim. As we've heard, he's punishing Minnesotans who have already been the victims of political violence, conflict, famine, These are Minnesotans who deserve our open arms and our compassion. His actions would take away our neighbors, our community members, and he's endangering their lives and depriving our neighborhoods, schools, and our workplaces. And I will say, and I am sure my colleagues would agree, that we've had enough of violence, of politically motivated violence, and we're not going to stand for it here in Minnesota, not anymore. So we will resist this in every way possible, with gestures of hope and love and humanity, and using the power we have together to fight for each other. This is a hateful, illegal order from a corrupt and vindictive president. It won't work legally, as you've heard. It won't work politically, and it doesn't work morally. And we will never abandon our neighbors, our colleagues, and our friends. That's not what we do in Minnesota. That's not what we do here. I am grateful to be with so many of you, my brothers, my sisters, my fellow Americans. And I look forward to the fight in front of us. The fight for Minnesota, for our families, our children, and our communities, and a fight for the promise of America, the America that I believe in, the America of our future. Thank you for being here.
Good afternoon. My name is Zach Stevenson. I'm leader of the House DFL. Friday was the worst of what Donald Trump does best. It's his go-to move. When he finds himself in trouble on the political ropes, he distracts, divides, and demagogues. It's disgusting, using real people as pawns as he desperately tries to change the subject. Minnesotans know that their costs are rising because of his tariffs and his terrible big bill. Healthcare costs in particular are soaring, and the president is desperate to change the subject. But scapegoating the Somali community won't decrease the cost of healthcare. The Somali community is part of the fabric of Minnesota, and the House DFL and all of Minnesota will always stand with the Somali community when the president targets them for his own political benefit. Thank you.
Thank you to our speakers, and for the media, we will take questions to the side right over here. Thank you for being here.